Good day everyone, welcome to this video. Today it's actually a birthday of one of my family members, and I thought, well, I've been promising you guys for a long time to do a story about the Cromwell and why it means so much to me. So, um, the Cromwell, my great-granddad didn't actually start a Cromwell. At first, he was a ambulance driver. Obviously, I'm going to go over the full story of why the Cromwell means so much to me. Because it's got a family bond, so to speak. We knew he drove a Cromwell from the limited pictures that we had, and well, I've been promising you guys for a long time, and I just have forgotten to do it, to be truthfully honest. But he mainly served on the Cromwell 1, from what I've been able to tell by the muzzle brake on the Cromwell pictures that we do have. There is going to be no gameplay in this video, just to let you know. It's basically going to be me talking for about 10 minutes or so. So, my great granddad started obviously living in the UK as a normal bloke. Um, he obviously met my great grandma, and everything like that. She actually helped in the war effort. I'll go over that briefly. But he started out in the well, I believe he started in a factory as a factory worker, and he well, he decided to join the army after the Battle of Britain. He did not serve at Dunkirk. He served mainly in Italy. He served at first driving ambulances. I believe there were Studebakers or some kind of Austin, from what I've been able to tell by the photos that we do have. After that, he served briefly as a medic. Obviously, ambulance driver, he transferred to being a medic after some time. Then eventually, he went on to be a tank driver. Obviously, he wanted to go into Crusader. However, during this time, we obviously had Cromwells. He also served in the desert, the North Africa desert campaign. He didn't serve very much there. He was moved to Italy shortly afterwards. To obviously help the war effort there. And he got his Cromwell in 1943, I believe. It was a Cromwell Mark 1 like we have on screen here. Armed with a 57mm 6-pounder with 2 beads of machine guns and obviously a smoke discharger. Very good tank, very nice tank. Rolls-Royce Meteor engine with 600 horsepower, and this thing shifts like a rabid dog. He genuinely described it as a sports car on tracks. That's how he described it. That's how fast this thing was. Obviously, in the Cromwell, you've obviously got the driver's compartment here. This is where my great-granddad would have sat. You've got the whole machine gunner here. You've got, I believe this is the loader on the right. Oh no, that's the gunner. I got confused, sorry. Then you've got a commander who, he looks a bit of a short ass in my opinion. You'd have thought he'd be up here, but hey ho. Then obviously you've got the loader on the right hand side. Well, right hand side if you was looking at the rear of the tank. So obviously the Cromwell in real life was actually limited to 32 miles an hour because if it could go any faster it would make it too uncomfortable for the crew. But it was a fantastic cruiser tank for the time. Obviously cruiser tanks were designed to they were designed to flank hard, take advantage of enemy positions that have been broken through, and use their fast speed to exploit that. Obviously, my great granddad's crew did score a couple of kills, but they did lose a couple of Cromwells doing it. One of the Cromwells that he lost, he got attacked by a Panzer IV, and it penetrated the right-hand side of the turret. Obviously, right-hand side is where we're looking at it, left-hand side is where looking at it from this side. Sadly, killing the gunner and commander instantly. My great granddad managed to get out with his trusted. Well, he had a pistol on him, and there was the most memorable incident we have of my great granddad's wartime effort was he was driving up the road with a load of infantrymen behind his Cromwell. I'd probably say they were around about a couple of feet behind him, so around about here, where the all inactive items are. And he came under attack by a German machine gun nest. The turret was looking this way because they'd taken artillery fire and the commander thought he'd seen a tank. So whilst they were doing that, my great-granddad had looked at his optics, which are right here, and spotted the machine gun nest. Now, obviously, it was shooting, trying to kill the men who were behind the Cromwell. So my great-granddad turned a tank, floored it, and ran over all 6 Germans manning that position. And the Cromwell weighs 27 tons, and a running German is not faster than the 40 miles an hour that this thing can reach. Obviously, this is in-game. In real life, it was limited to about 32, if I remember. And he killed all 6 Germans instantly. No questions asked. And that was it. He actually got, I can't remember what medal it was, but we do actually have his war medals. And when my uncle, who is is a couple of miles away from me, obviously this is a long time yet, once he passes on, I will receive my great-granddad's war medals. So you can tell the kind of honor that I would have. Obviously, I'd receive all of his, I've seen his photographs, and what's worrying is he looks a lot like me. Yeah, that's something to think about, isn't it? You look just like your great-granddad. Let's just hope I don't age like him. But the tank itself served him very well. Obviously, he did lose 3 Cromwells during the war. One with, which was, I think one of the drivers got blown off by anti-tank mine or something. The third one we're not really sure about. But he tells us that he lost 3 Cromwells during the war. Obviously, he passed on just before, or actually, not long after I was born. So sadly, I couldn't get any information out of him because obviously I was only a baby. But after he served in the Cromwell, obviously now you know why it means so much to me because it's basically a family sort of. It's related to the family in a way. This tank kept my granddad safe, or my great granddad safe. Kept the men inside of it most of the time safe. Obviously, with the penetration to the turret, it was always going to happen. It's a Panzer IV with the long-barreled 75. And well, he had a lot of fun driving this tank. He, after serving in Italy, he moved to near Germany, where he became an infantry soldier. And a German rifleman actually shot him in the leg. He had a scar on his leg where he actually had to have the bullet pulled out. But my great-granddad, being tough as nails as he is, picked up... Oh, hold on a moment. That is Hartwig Krupstar. Welcome to the channel, buddy. He's a new recent subscriber. I'll answer his messages in a moment. And he picked up his rifle, I believe it was a Lee Enfield, and shot the German back, killing him instantly. He killed the German instantly. Just proves who's the better shot. And he always used to, because obviously my mum was his grandchild. I would have been his great-grandchild. And he used to show off this scar where he took the bullet from that German. After my great-grandma, whilst he was doing all of this, she was in the factories of Britain making tank shells, anti-aircraft gun shells, machine gun round bullets, things like that. I think even at one point she moved to making Spitfire engines, which is insane. Obviously, I cannot confirm that, but it's just amazing that. Well, obviously, I knew about the Cromwell's existence, but I didn't know my great-granddad drove one till I was about 12. And when British tanks got added, I grinded the Cromwell immediately. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about, and this is a great tank. But if I don't have the best stats in it, that's because Allied teams suck. But this is a very fun tank to drive in-game. It's fast, very good reload, good gun. Fair enough, your reverse is a pile of dog shit, but even so. As you can tell, 2 miles an hour. But now you guys know why the Cromwell means so much to me, because, well, when your great-granddad does stuff like that, it is quite exciting, isn't it? And I just thought I'd share it with you guys because I promised it for a while now. I've briefly gone over what he's done, but he saved a lot of lives during the war by doing what he did. Obviously, running over that German machine gun nest, driving ambulances with wounded men. My great grandma obviously helped with the war effort. She built ammunition and stuff like that, and at one point possibly even Spitfire engines. Obviously, I cannot confirm that, but it's just amazing that sometime in my family's history we've had people that have done that. Obviously, everyone's had a family member in the army at some point, but this is why the Cromwell means a lot to me. And I am going to have to start taking out. I think I've still got skins to do on both Cromwells. Yes, I do. So I will have to take out the Cromwells at some point. I'll quickly check the Cromwell 5. Oh, I've done the Cromwell 5. Okay, so we don't need to worry about the Cromwell 5. But yes, I'll defo do some gameplay in the Cromwell at some point in the future. But now you guys know. Let me know in the comments what you think, because well, my great granddad died in 2001, so I'd have been just under 1 year old. So obviously, I did meet him once. Very nice bloke from what my mum was telling me, and I look a lot like him in the younger stages. So as I get older, if I look like him, I'm going to be very concerned, because I'm a believer in reincarnation. I always believe that at some point God will put us back on. Obviously, I don't believe in God, just to point out, but I'm just saying something in this world will put us back onto this earth for a specific reason. So if I look a lot like my great granddad, why is it that I know so much about historical vehicles from the get-go? And what's weird is I actually have a birthmark where his bullet mark was. How weird is that, ladies and gentlemen? But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I've blabbered on a bit too much. And I'm going to obviously answer Hollywood Cup Stars messages. And I will leave you guys to it. And I will catch you all on the next one. Hope you enjoyed.